The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the dusty town of Silver Creek. I stood at the edge of the saloon, my boots planted firmly on the ground, the weight of my six-shooter resting comfortably against my hip. They called me Shotgun Rose, the name that whispered through the streets like a ghost, both feared and revered. I was a notorious gunslinger, a woman who had carved out her own destiny in a man's world. My journey began years ago after the death of my father. He was a kind man, a rancher who taught me the value of hard work and the importance of standing up for myself. When he was murdered over a cattle dispute, I was left with nothing but a burning rage and a thirst for justice. I picked up his old revolver, a rusty relic that felt foreign in my hands at first, but with practice, it became an extension of my will. The first time I faced a man in the street, I was terrified. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, the weight of the moment pressing down on me. But as I stared into the eyes of my opponent, I felt a rush of clarity. I wasn't just fighting for myself. I was fighting for every woman who had ever been silenced. I drew my gun, the sound of metal against leather echoing in the stillness, and in that instant I knew I was born to do this. Word spread quickly. I became a legend, a figure cloaked in mystery. Men sought me out to challenge or hire me for the jobs they couldn't handle. I took on outlaws, corrupt sheriffs, and anyone who thought they could make a name for themselves at the expense of the innocent. Each bullet I fired was both a declaration of war and an act of liberation. But with fame came danger. Rival gunslingers wanted to prove themselves against the infamous Rose. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, I received a telegram that sent a shiver down my spine. A man named Jack Deadeye Malone was coming to town, and he had a reputation for being ruthless. He had taken down some of the best, and now he had set his sights on me. The night of our showdown was electric. The townsfolk gathered, their faces a mixture of fear and excitement. As I stepped into the street, the cool night air wrapped around me like a familiar embrace. I could see him at the other end, his shadowy figure framed by the flickering lanterns. He was fast, no doubt, but so was I. We faced each other, the tension palpable. The world around us faded, leaving just the two of us and the weight of our choices. In that moment, I remembered my father's words, "Stand tall and never back down." I drew my weapon, and the sound of our guns firing echoed through the night like thunder. When the smoke cleared, I stood victorious, but not without cost. His lifeless body lay on the ground, a grim reminder of the violence I had embraced. As the crowd erupted in cheers, I felt a hollow ache in my chest. I was a protector, but I was also a killer. The line between right and wrong blurred, and I knew I had to live with the consequences of my actions. In the days that followed, I continued my journey, but the thrill of the gunfights began to fade. I sought out new paths, using my skills to defend those who couldn't defend themselves, becoming a guardian of the weak rather than a harbinger of death. The notorious Rose was still there, but now she was tempered with wisdom and purpose. As I rode into the sunset, I knew that my story was far from over. I was a gunslinger, yes, but I was also a woman who dared to change her fate. The road ahead was uncertain, but I was ready to face whatever challenges awaited me, one shot at a time.